Okay, so after 5 minutes of just loading and loading and loading and loading, finally, I have no control over this, but surprise, we're live. Um, and please excuse um, the background. I mean, not just the background, but also the lighting. It's a little bit weird when it's like pointed on this direction and not like up here where I want it to be, but that's because behind this laptop is quite crowded. But hello. All right. I'm just glad that I'm doing this today as I wear my Aquaman t shirt. And tonight, it's the middle of the week, so that's worth celebrating because that means Friday. It's only 2 days away. So I'm glad that is happening. The past couple of weeks, I had to really just, I really had to just lay low. I only made like what was it, like maybe two shorts or one or two? Maybe the last short I did was just a quick out of the theater reaction of Night Swim, which I'll be talking about in just a couple minutes. Um, and day after day, it's like, okay, when I'll be recording the next review? When will I be downloading, uploading that next review? Because I've only been to the theater like what three or four times ever since the last review that I did, which I cannot remember what it was, but it's there, and uh, yeah. So here I am, and hopefully anybody who is coming in to drop by and say hi. But other than that, I hope everybody is keeping warm this winter. And I live out here in in New England, so winter here is, I feel like it's the harshest out of any other in the U.S. I mean, Alaska is probably like the top tier coldest in the winter time. So yeah. All right. Yeah. So huge thanks and shout out to the like. um, yeah. So really, back to the whole me just doing this live. I figured that it'd just be easier to share my thoughts in. I was going to say in person, obviously not in person, but still live and in real time. Um, the reason um, the reason films, are they worthy to be called blockbuster films? Napoleon, maybe, but yeah, just to uh, go ahead and put my thoughts out there. Uh, Brief reviews, as I like to call it, because these reviews are past due. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and share them as I go on and as people start coming in and to say hi and ask questions and um, yeah, ask questions regarding these reviews. So that will be all. Uh, and just to get the first one out of the way with the Marvels, because that is that is a critique that it's long overdue. So, um, and recently I heard that it's finally dropping on streaming on the first week, either first week, no, not first week, the second week after this upcoming one on the Disney Plus uh, platform. So that's good to hear. I have not purchased it on digital. It is available on digital, which is good to hear. But I'm going to start off by saying that with the Marvels, first off, I had a blast watching it in theaters. I watched it twice. I did see it twice. First time was in IMAX. Second time was was in 3D actually. But but it was unintentional because when I was buying the tickets a second time, I thought I was purchasing the like the general ticket, and it was along with a friend who wanted to go see it. But we ended up watching it in 3D, and we both had a blast. The second time watching it, it was the same as the first time. But all I can say is that it's just a flat out fun movie to just enjoy. There really isn't nothing special I would say that that stands out as far as the film itself, because it honestly needed more time to like I would say, and this is one of the critique, I would say, like the downside, semi downside of it, is that there had to be more time to build into the writing of the Marvels, and I think that would have been more, I guess, more meaningful, I guess, more stand out. But a lot of factors had built in for not really the hype, but the challenges of promoting this movie and hyping it up in a sense. And with the state of Marvel and how it's been in 2023, it was pretty tough. It was a tough ending of the year. Um, but as for me, and as for many other folks who have also shared basically the same opinions as me, have said that they've really enjoyed the movie as well. The villain itself, Darben, was something very difficult to chew on because she wasn't that. Uh, I guess there wasn't a much higher stake to it, but at the same time, it just felt like a villain just wasted absolutely 100%. I did see it at first glance. I did notice that, and I don't know. To me, like there would have been much more better use as far as like the lore of the Kree. And I thought that with Darben as that villain to kind of like lead that a little bit more, it was kind of like my expectations, just as far as the backstory of it all, and a little bit more comic book connection to it, which not all MCU movies have. I mean, have had to have done that, uh, but to an extent. Um, but yeah, there's that, and then Iman Vellani just is the superstar of of the movie. So that part I've just got to enjoy and got to like just soak it all in. Um, so with all of that said and done, I would just give the film a pretty fair 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, and as I said, it wasn't so bad. I really did enjoy it. Um, and as far as the conclusion of it with the the post credit scenes, I am pretty well. I would say extremely excited for it. I love with the direction that they're be taking the story as far as the continuity goes. A bit further out there with surprises. So I can't wait to see where that all leads. Yeah. Um, definitely. Excuse me. Definitely recommendable. Yeah. Um, so there's that, and then we have Napoleon. So for someone like myself who does love to delve into the history, world history of it all, um, there's nothing greater than for Ridley Scott to kind of like take control of that and illustrate it in the most epic way. Gladiator being that one brilliant example. Um, but as far as this biopic, that of a story taking place during the French Revolution, Joaquin Phoenix playing the lead, there was great illustration and performance, just as far as what he has done to take the lead and playing as this historical figure. Um, the only thing that I kind of find a little bit difficult to stick with really is the writing and the execution of it of the writing in terms of the life of Napoleon. Everything else just, yeah, just as far as the setting, as far as the actions, also like the battles, like, oh, like that I was zoned in all the way. However, it wasn't enough for me to be fully invested in what was going on. Just story and historical, yeah, conjunction. I don't know what the right word that I'm trying to like project here, but by the end, like somewhere during the beginning of the third act, like that's where I just like I was already like tuning out very easily, um and around that point I was already falling asleep, and this was like after the battle over the frozen water. So I don't know. I To me it just, there was a little bit of frustration there, and I just wasn't able to tolerate the entire film at that point, and I just stood up and had to walk out. I don't know. It wouldn't be something that I would watch again because it was pretty difficult. So yeah, and one thing I am glad, it wasn't really Scott who wrote this. I forgot the guy's name, but I don't know. And if you're familiar with Assassin's Creed, which is one of my favorite video game franchise, I played Unity, and Assassin's Creed Unity, French Revolution is where it takes place. And if you could look at the difference and the example that Ubisoft, the developers of the game, like they spent countless of times in putting a team together of multicultural members to talk about, and this includes scholars, professors, just anybody that knows a lot about history, and from there they can take everything that they share in the table and make the environment within the game beyond as authentic. And and the voice actors too, of that video game, even for non even for people who are hired to voice NPCs, non-playable characters, um they're they're French natives, from what you could tell. um and I really can't help but think about, like, wow, the amount of work and time and money to pay all these folks to be in like voiceover booth to like say these lines, act out these lines, say it in the French language. But comparing it to the film Napoleon, like none of that great authenticity was ever like displayed. Like I would have imagined at some point where they would have discussed like practicing, and I'm pretty sure Joaquin Phoenix could have pulled this off, where instead of instead of everybody just using British accent, um, make it sound more. This is gonna sound funny, but more Frenchy. Yeah, more Frenchy. But yeah. So with that said and done, Napoleon, a film that the epic proportion, is there. However, following the story, it kind of loses you and slows you down as you go. And really, all I could do is just give this mm, a pretty strong neutral 5.0 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So that's the way I just took it. Um, so then after that, we have Night Swim, which I saw very recently. Um, and Night Swim, I this is the last short that I did, but it's it's quite. a suspenseful movie where right now Blumhouse, like that's the nature of Blumhouse production when it comes to making and producing um, horror movies nowadays, especially when they are original pieces. And with this one, it just makes it feel. Um, I know I feel like it's just a reminder about how typical it's already becoming as far as the suspenseful horror genre, with like ghost and paranormal, excuse me, paranormal entities and um, scary sequences where there's this scary phenomenon happening, and in this case, in a swimming pool. Um, I will say that those scary sequence during the second half of the second act, and then followed by the third act, which is like the escalation of it. Um, it worked, and and I loved the execution of it. Um, just that one issue of like how it just drags a little bit towards that, and trying to make it seem just a little bit more interested, and a little more expansion to the background, like the backstory of it. So like the scene when the mom went to um the old lady's house, the old lady who lost her daughter when they were living at the house, and she was telling the mom the story of the history behind the water, behind pool. And so like that was well thought out and well crafted, and it just leaves you wishing like, okay, well, what else can be added to that? Why wasn't this more a little bit more earlier? I mean, it's mostly like this in suspenseful horror genre, but yeah. uh so with that said and done, um Night Swim, it's gonna earn itself from me also like a 6.5 out of 10 as well. So there's that. Um yeah, I gotta be doing my homework to see what other productions from Blumhouse will be releasing this year. And today I actually saw the trailer for Abigail, with Angus Cloud in it, RIP. And this is a new movie that I have not heard of, and it's coming out in theaters this April. I thought it was interesting. Um, as far as the trailer went, there's interesting cast. Catherine Newton is also in it, and yeah, yeah, I gotta like dissect more the trailer, just a little bit more, and maybe share a more well thought out reaction to it, to to that trailer. So there's that piece, and not much else for me to share for today. I'm trying to like know what else today. I know that Deadpool 3 has wrapped up today, so from filming, and that's just exciting. So I can't wait. That it's my top anticipated movie for this year, so I can't wait for that. Uh, yeah, and I know that to doing this live, one of the other things I've been thinking about was how right now the MCU Netflix series, the Defender series, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, and Luke Cage, like all those folks, now they're MCU canon. They have been canon this entire time, and before it was even confirmed, like my head canon had the strongest belief that yes, all these events did take place during the Infinity Saga. And when I learned that it was fully confirmed, like it just gave me this huge smile on my face. Um, best of luck to all those who are going to be rewatching the Infinity Saga in chronological order, because they're also included in the MCU timeline on Disney Plus. So, which is weird, and I find that very like okay. So here's the reason. So if you're familiar with if you have seen the Defender series, um, because they do have their specific uh, chronological order as far as the seasons and the shows and where they're stacked up timeline wise. And uh, I mean, here's the good example. Daredevil it has 3 seasons, but then you have the Defenders, a limited series with 8 episodes, and that story takes place between seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil. And in my mind, like before it was even announced, like, okay, if this was ever laid out on the MCU timeline, as far as the Defender series, like they would have to separate those seasons. Like they would have to have their own thumbnail and their list of the episodes. And that way it'd be easier for them to be stacked well in the order that it should correspond based on their timeline. So, um, so I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to know the story pretty well if planning on watching the Defender series along with the Infinity Saga, back to back. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm just glad that it is canon. And I'm really hyped for Daredevil Born Again. I think this upcoming year in 2025, after this year, I do feel like Marvel is gonna kick it up into high gear with these anticipated content, these anticipated films like Cap 4, the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four is slated to be released in 2025. So and then there's Blade also. So there's lots to look forward to. I think and that's why it's good that this year things are being taken easy and things are slowing down. With Deadpool 3 being the only MCU movie that's coming out, and everything else as far as like Disney Plus goes, is just basically the majority are animated series. I mean, X-Men 97, um, what else? Spider-Man, not freshman year, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And of course, then there's Agatha Darkhold Diaries, which is the second live action series, which won't be coming until later this year. So lots to look forward to. And looking at the time, and given the fact that nobody showed up, but it's fine, I was able to just gladly get this out of the way and share my thoughts and my review. So yeah, if you're watching this, then thanks for watching, and leave a like and leave a comment for any additional questions. Whether if you missed this live, I'd be glad to just go ahead and answer. And additional thoughts in regards to the Marvels or Napoleon or Night Swim. And then there's that. I will be planning on doing another live stream, maybe either Friday night or Saturday night. We'll see, because Um, I've also recently watched Saltburn, and that completely it left me dumbfounded and in shock as far as the ending of that movie. So yes, I have lots to talk about that one. And also to talk about like what I'm actually watching, because I am rewatching Lost for the third time, and I'm watching Smallville for the first time, and I'm already in season 6. And I don't know, just want to share my thoughts because I really do highly recommend that show, Smallville. So there's that. All right. So until next time, guys, stay cool, stay safe, keep watching movies the way they were meant to be seen on the big screen. and enjoying it with everybody else, because it's better when we watch together. Okay. Peace out.